Hello, you join me today for the first of our series of easy skill builders, and you'll be today learning how to create beautiful table decor. It really is easy. It's an easy method that will work for anyone. Don't say you can't do it. Don't say you've got no creative ability. You'll find that you can create this in really no time at all. Let's get started. First off, I'd like to point out that we're going to be making this table decor in a teacup. I know that seems strange. It's not a vase, it's nothing elaborate, it's something that everyone has, and that's why we're doing it. But when you're finished, it will look really attractive. So first off, you're going to need a teacup. There are a couple of other things that you're going to need too, and I'll mention those in a moment. But don't feel worried about the quality of flowers you're going to be needing. Yes, it's nice if you have lovely roses or carnations, which is what I've used for my demonstration one, but you'll find that you'll have some nice little flowers just in your garden that you can use that will look every bit as attractive. Let's get started. Okay, so just what are you going to need? Well, as I mentioned, you're going to need a teacup. I just had a little white teacup and saucer that I used for my demonstration version, but it doesn't have to be that. You can have a patterned one that will look every bit as nice. A teacup and saucer, number one. You're going to also need some little flowers. Not big flowers. If you've got little carnations, they're lovely. If you've got little daisies, that's wonderful. If you've got nothing in your garden, you might have to buy some, but don't buy a lot of them. Just a couple of stems of these flowers. It's going to be all you need. It's only a small arrangement. Have a look in your garden as well for some greenery. I've just used asparagus fern because that grows practically like a weed in my garden. Whatever you use, make sure it also has small leaves. You don't want to use something with large leaves or it's going to overwhelm your little teacup arrangement. Also, if you've got some little filler flowers, that would be great. If not, perhaps buy a stem or two of baby's breath from the nearest florist. And lastly, you're going to need some florist foam. Now, there are two versions with florist foam. One is for using for dried arrangements and others for wet, and we want the wet florist foam. So make sure that you choose that one. It should be a green colour when you purchase it. You just need one brick. In fact, you won't even need that. One brick is going to make quite a few arrangements, so it won't be expensive. Okay, do you have what you need? Let's go over it one more time to make sure that you have the supplies that you're going to need to create this little teacup arrangement. First of all, a teacup and saucer. Next, a block of florist foam. And last, a few stems of flowers and greenery. Make sure they're small. Don't use big lilies or something that's going to not even fit in your teacup. Small flowers and small leafed greenery, and if you can, a little bit of filler flowers. That's great. Now the first thing we need to do is cut a piece of the florist foam to fit the size of your cup. Now the florist foam is going to sit above your cup, but we want it to fit firmly into your cup, so the best idea is to grab your cup, flip it upside down and push it onto the floristry foam. That'll give you the shape and size of your cup. Take it off and using a knife, cut along that line that you've just pushed into the florist foam. Once you have that, slip it back into the cup to make sure it fits firmly into your cup. And if you're happy with it, then put it in some water to soak. We want it to be heavy with water. If you have a look at this picture in this slide, you'll be able to see that the florist foam does stand above the height of the teacup. That's fine. We need it that height so that we can push our bits of greenery and flowers into our florist foam. Now I want to make a note just at this point that it's going to be best and easier for you if you stand above your work. You can sit and work and do this arrangement, that's fine, but really, because we want a nice rounded look to our arrangement, you'll be able to see this much more clearly if you're standing and working over your arrangement. Now we're going to start with some of the greenery. The pieces that I want you to use are going to be small. I want you to cut off some few pieces of your greenery, but make sure it is no bigger than the length of your thumb. They're little, but you're working in a teacup. Now everything you do with your arrangement, if you do add a piece of greenery on one side of your teacup, then you're going to also add it to the opposite side. So we're going to put in 4 pieces. The first piece will be at the top of your cup, just at the top edge and on the side, at where it would be 12 o'clock for a clock. We're going to then do it at 6 o'clock, so it's opposite. We're going to put a piece in on the side at what would be 3 o'clock, and opposite that another piece in at what would be 9 o'clock. 4 pieces into the sides of your florist foam just above the edge of your teacup. Okay, now that's the first part of our arrangement. You should have 4 little pieces of greenery placed in your oasis, and it should be just above the top edge of your teacup. Does it look similar to the illustration in front of you? 4 pieces, 2 opposite on each side. Now we're going to add the next 4 little pieces, and they're going to go in between the ones that you've already placed, but just a little bit higher up. Have a look at the picture. So you place 1 between 2 of the greenery already on your teacup, and then another one opposite between the ones on the other side. 4 pieces placed in the spaces between the greenery that you've already placed within your oasis. Great, your arrangement is really coming together now. That's looking good. I know it doesn't look much at the moment, but it's going to look really great, so stay with me. We now need 4 more little pieces, again, no bigger than your thumb. Now the next 4 are going to go at the top of your oasis, just along the edge of it though. And those 2 are going to go in spaces between the places that you've already placed your greenery along the sides. We're trying to fill it all in, and we're going to give it a nice rounded look. So these 4 pieces go in at the top edge of your oasis and space them out on your oasis. Now, using more small pieces of greenery that are only about the size of your thumb, start to fill in some of the spaces around the sides of your teacup. Remember, it doesn't have to be packed too densely because you still have to add your flowers. Now, start to add some small pieces of greenery to the top of your teacup arrangement. You'll still be able to see some of the foam between the greenery, but that's okay. Now, just as a quick check, this is how your arrangement should look from the side. These are small little sprigs of greenery that have been evenly arranged into your oasis in the teacup, and they should come out no further than the distance of your saucer. Now comes the fun stuff. You're going to start to add some flowers. You'll notice with any arrangement that it will look much better if your arrangement uses flowers or buds that are small down near the bottom of your arrangement and the larger ones near the top. So we're going to put small flowers or buds down near the base of the oasis, near the top edge of your teacup, and you're going to arrange them the same way as you did for the greenery. Those flowers will only be, again, as long as the length of your thumb. That's not big pieces. And you're going to put them in one on one side and another one on the opposite. One on one side and one on the opposite. You're going to start to do it exactly the same way as you did for your greenery. As you can see, now your little teacup arrangement is starting to look like a lovely little ball of greenery and flowers. Smaller flowers down near the bottom, bigger flowers up near the top, and you can see plenty of greenery between the flowers. It's a lovely balance. If you're looking down on your teacup arrangement, this is how it should look. Nicely spaced out flowers, evenly distributed, and with nice bits of green between each of the blossoms. Now it's not essential, but if you are able to find some little filler flowers, here's when you start to use them. Again, you're using small little sprigs of these. Don't cut them out too long. Systematically place your little filler flowers between your greenery and your flowers and make it balanced. Just as you did with the greenery and with your other flowers, if you put in a sprig on one side of your arrangement, put another one just opposite it. Then turn it round, put another little sprig on one side and another sprig on the other side. It should look balanced. By now, here's how your arrangement should be looking. Your greenery, your flowers, all balanced and symmetrical, and little filler flowers scattered throughout. Here's a side view of what your arrangement should be looking like by now. Now, although this is a small arrangement, you can make it look more of itself by placing your cup and saucer on larger plates. If you're placing your teacup arrangement in the center of a table, why not put a candle on either side of your teacup arrangement? This arrangement now is finished, and it will look really good if you also give it a light spray with water from a spray bottle. If you have a large table, you may find it's helpful to make a few of these teacup arrangements. Keep in mind that it always looks better on a table if you have an odd number of arrangements. So 1 on a table looks great. 3 on a table looks great. If you have a very large table, then 5 would look really good down the center of the table. Keep in mind that this arrangement isn't restricted just to your tables. This arrangement looks just as nice placed on a coffee table in the lounge room. To prolong the life of your flowers and greenery and your table decor, make sure you keep it well watered. Also, spraying it with a light spray will encourage it too and make it look nice and fresh. It should last at least a week and probably 10 days. Thanks for sharing this project with me. You'll find more inspiration at Grandma's Place on our website or by subscribing to the newsletter. There's a growing collection of easy skill builder clips on YouTube, and even more ideas and projects that you can find on our social media pages.